Yeah. Trying to beat you up. Come downstairs. You know you in front of the courthouse trying to act like you're tough. Like, yeah, stop. Yeah, let's go around the corner. Let's go around the corner. Come on, let's go. Trying to beat you up.
Turn around.
Like your mother's ugly?
Turn around.
Like your mother's ugly?
Same thing.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
Oh, okay.
Just watch.
Yeah, okay. We could test her right now. Right now. Right now, ugly. Everything. Oh, you thought you was gonna see something ugly, bitch. You wasn't. But you wasn't. But you wasn't.
No makeup.
But you wasn't. Same here. You see what's up? Same here. You see what's up? Oh, okay.
Keep your wigs on. Ladies and gentlemen, for the courtroom not only heated up but also descended into anarchy. Have you ever witnessed a rapper shed genuine tears while their man stands up to them? Yes, that has just occurred. The one pleading for pity is now Remy Ma, the self-described Bronx bombshell, and from her own spouse, Papoose, rather than the judge, the writer who used to for her. Label flops and jail bids just entered the witness box. Let's also state that loyalty departed. But hold on, things get worse. We're talking about security pulling people out, screaming matches in the corridor, and Remy just crumbling in a fit of wrath. And he was observing everything unfold as if it were a front row ticket at Summer Jam. Jasmine Dior, of course.
Like, miss, where's your remorse? Like, where's your sorriness? Where's your sadness? Like, at the end of the day, I don't care what I go through with nobody. I would never want to see nobody die. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Like, bitch, nobody did nothing to you, you fucking gremlin. And you really acting like you mad about something. Ice grilling somebody, ugly ass. Then you acting tough in front of a courthouse like, bitch, we're gonna go to jail. You've been to jail before, I'm sure you don't want to go back, bitch. Like, what are we doing here? Come around the corner. You're really not fucking tough. Like, bitch is mad pussy, like.
And the accused murder victim of Remy's son's daughter. What were the secrets that Papoose disclosed? Why was Remy heard mumbling, "I knew this day would come"? And why is it that many are speculating that her family may not be the only ones affected by this trial? Get your popcorn, darling. It's not a trial, it is a takedown, and it is only the beginning, so bang. Remy Ma believes she was entering a courtroom as a proud ride-or-die mother standing behind her son. However, what did she enter? Oh, that was a ready-made broadcast meltdown because jaws dropped more forcefully than Ray's latest mixtape when that judge called Papoose to the stand, and he really stood up. Not to mention that this is the same man who restrained her during her 6-year prison sentence. The same man who supported her through her darkest moments, wrote love poetry, and paid her regular visits. He is currently providing testimony on behalf of the prosecution. When Remy's name was spoken, you could hear his soul departing her body. Wait for him, she blinked again, and that's when things started to go wrong. The level of security increased, the cameras angled closer, journalists began. The final betrayal plot twist that no one had planned was a picture of Papoose, motionless and expressionless, making his way to that witness box. Or did they? Let's go back. Here's the tea in case you arrive late to the mess. Jason J. Scott, the son of Remy Ma, is presently on trial for the alleged shooting death of Darius Gilbo, a parent, businessman, and according to reports, someone who knew far too much. In 2021, the purported murder occurred in Queens. However, the case only recently blew up. Why? Due to the fact that new digital evidence, GPS pings, phone logs, and some unidentified video footage all appeared out of nowhere. Can you guess who assisted the DA in obtaining those files? Yes, that section. Papoose has been quietly collaborating for months. According to rumors circulating in the courthouse hallways, he has confirmed timeframes, leaked location information, and even provided insight into behavioral patterns that prosecutors say demonstrate Remy's involvement in the crime's cover-up. We'll let you determine if that's factual or simply some spicy legal fiction. Let's be honest. Though, isn't it betrayal on a whole other level if your spouse, who is more familiar with your calendar than you are, starts sharing it with individuals who are attempting to lock up your child? The courtroom was full. Influencers, journalists, and former high school rivals who only wished to see her fail. Everyone was present at one point. Even Fat Joe poked his head in, but he bounced back when it became too cluttered. You could feel the temperature change as soon as Papoose raised his hand to swear in. It seemed as though someone had switched off Remy's internal playlist. She mouthed some murmurs. Why, the victim's daughter, Jasmine Dior, was seated in the front row, glaring down at Remy like she was the antagonist in a Tyler Perry finale. So she was unable to finish. Let's not overlook the identity of Jasmine Dior. Since the beginning, she has been outspoken, sending cryptic messages criticizing corporate cover-ups and pushing for her father to be given justice. However, she brought fire today. Papoose smirked, lifted her chin, and took out a notepad as soon as she began talking. Rumor has it that she wasn't merely there to watch. She was anticipating the meltdown. And it came cold. Papoose's tone was cool and collected as he opened his testimony. Just facts, no feelings. Or what he referred to as facts. Yes, when Jace returned home that evening, I was at home indeed. Reminisce knew about the dispute. Things had taken place. Earlier that day, yes, I told them both to keep silent until legal assistance could be obtained. Hold on. What? The magistrate bent forward because of what Papoose had just said on the record, which implicated her in obstruction of justice. The DA grinned, and Remy let out a loud scream as if reality had finally hit her in the chest. Not merely poor parenting, not merely a front for her son, but outright manipulation. The atmosphere escalated when the judge signaled for stillness, despite her attempts to get up and mutter something to her attorney. Across the courtroom, she reportedly mouthed, "You promised me." He simply looked down and continued speaking without flinching. The actual dagger then appeared. According to Papoose, Remy Ma allegedly paid $20.00 to an unidentified person who was connected to the Gielbo case a week after the murder. Hush money, diversion money, and damage control money are implied. The suggestion hung in the air like cheap perfume, but no one stated it directly. The whole courtroom went crazy as Jasmine Dior abruptly got up and yelled, "Tell them about the burner phone." Papoose security sprang into action. People let out a shout as if they were machine guns. Cameras clicked, and she didn't move. Remy, as if she had just seen a ghost, she sat motionless, her eyes wide open and her hands clenched. At that point, the court declared a recess. People rushed out to phone their editors, reporters sprinted, and Remy Ma fell back in her seat, unable to breathe, was unable to cry, simply sat there inconsolable. The drama didn't end there, though. Oh no, the corridor became a battlefield. Jasmine Dior made sure to follow Remy Ma. She was let out by security. According to witnesses, Jasmine screamed, "Your son took my father. Now your husband's taking your legacy." Remy spun around for a split second. It looked like she was ready to throw hands. But instead she whispered something chilling. "This isn't over. You think this is justice? Watch what happens next." And just when we thought it couldn't get any messier, one of the reporters, allegedly from an online gossip blog, caught audio of Remy on the phone right after stepping outside. She was screaming, "Tell my lawyer to pull every email, every message. He has war if that's what he wants." The million-dollar question is, who is she referring to? Papoose, the DA, or someone higher up? Rumor has it that this whole situation extends beyond a simple betrayal of family. There are whispers of subterranean ties, sealed records, and payments linked to industry executives are circulating. And some believe that this trial could be the start of a much larger takedown that would rock the hip-hop world from the ground up. As the chaos outside the courthouse continued, an unmarked black SUV pulled up. With tinted windows and no license plates, a tall man in a gray suit emerged, and Remy Ma recognized him right away. She stopped in the middle of her sentence. Her face turned pale, and she got into the car and vanished without a word. The internet is now in a downward spiral, with fans wondering who this man is, why she left so quickly, and most importantly that moment she switched sides. A few hours later, a leaked audio recording that was purportedly taken from inside that very SUV by an anonymous driver who, let's face it, was probably paid off by someone with way too much time and not enough morals hit the blogosphere like a nuclear bomb. In the clip, Remy Ma is heard saying, "He's not going to ruin me." She abruptly disappears from the public eye for more than 5 hours. No one knows where she went. And there are no phone calls, Instagram stories, or even a vague tweet. Not after all that I had concealed for him. And if you thought Papoose's testimony was betrayal, the plot just exploded now. Who exactly is he? The internet went into full meltdown mode at that point. Some say she was referring to Papoose, while others say it was a direct reference to her son, Jace. And the tinfoil hat community, they think she meant an exact tie to a label dispute back in 2020. He allegedly borrowed Remy's laptop the night after the murder in order to send a verse to a producer. But instead of finding a beat folder, he discovered a zip file called PRVT_evidence_J. Curiosity destroyed the trust, as it contained screenshots, audio messages, and what seemed to be transaction logs, possibly pertaining to hush payments made to a woman who was allegedly an eyewitness that night in Queens. What's even more bizarre is that one of the messages was titled, "Tell Jace to stay low." Now, I know what you're thinking. Is any of this confirmed? Of course not. That's the beauty of leaked info. But the blogs went into overdrive. The phrase, PRVT_evidence_J trended harder than any of Ray's singles this decade. Meanwhile, back at the courthouse, Jasmine Dior wasn't letting up. She went live on Instagram. standing in front of a huge crowd of supporters, and said, "This is bigger than my dad. I can assure you that they attempted to buy my silence, but they were unable to do so. This is about the truth." Mic dropped. She then pulled out what she claimed was a burner phone, the same one she had screamed about in the courtroom. And guess what? It had voicemails. One in particular was chilling. A distorted voice assumed to be Remy Ma saying they can't connect it back to Jace. He was wearing gloves, you know that. Viewers were shocked. The comments section is a battlefield. Some fans started turning on Remy, saying, "This isn't the woman we rode for during that jail argument." Others said that it was all a setup, that Jasmine Dior was being used, that the phone was planted, and that Remy was being framed. However, it's important to remember that Papoose hasn't yet refuted any leaks. In fact, according to a courthouse assistant who spoke to a gossip blog using a fictitious name, Papoose gave the DA a backup drive 2 weeks ago. Yes, a backup drive labeled Rem for you. That's either a digital dagger or a breakup gift, depending on your perspective. Speaking of betrayal, what about the people Remy once called friends? Fat Joe posted a vague statement on Twitter that said, "I pray for all involved. Some wounds don't heal." Is a hip-hop code for she messed up badly, because fans sure took it that way. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj posted a single unicorn emoji with a scale emoji. No caption, no context, just shade in the barbs. Oh, they ate that up. A blurry security camera clip from a gas station dated the night of the murder was sent to 3 major hip-hop news pages later that same evening. It showed a black SUV registered to Papoose parked next to a car that looks similar to the one Jace was allegedly driving. Now, let's pause. Did Papoose know about the murder before it even happened? Did he witness it, or, worse, help them escape? And this is where things get complicated. A voice on the video says, "Tell your pops to turn the dash cam off." At 11:47 p.m., just minutes before the gunshots that killed Darius Gilbo were reported, Papoose's halo began to slip. Some people think he flipped to save himself, while others think he was trying to clean up his mess before the feds arrived. But in any case, Remy, she's not just angry. She's prepared to burn the planet to the ground. Don't think she's suffering alone, though, because another insider source who claims to have worked PR for Remy's team back in 2019 said she's preparing a sealed countersuit not only against Papoose, but also against the city. Sponsors have begun to back out of her projects. A sneaker collaboration was postponed, and her scheduled podcast relaunch was scrubbed from the network site. One label executive even leaked that Love and Remy, a reality spin-off series in the works, is on indefinite pause due to legal sensitivities. But it gets worse. Just before the courthouse closed for the evening, a large delivery even pulled up, and a representative from a luxury florist with a huge bouquet for Jasmine Dior. The card for your strength is anonymous, but rumors have it that the handwriting matches Papoose. The envelope in the courtroom, according to sources, was discreetly given to the judge's clerk by Remy Ma's lawyer, while everyone else was preoccupied with testimony and screaming matches. What was inside, no one knows. But a court sketch artist swears they saw the words "for your eyes" only printed in red on the front. Drama check, intrigue double check. The envelope reportedly prompted an emergency conference call between the judge, the DA, and Ray's defense team. No cameras were permitted inside, no audio, and no notes. However, following the meeting, all additional witness testimony was postponed for 48 hours. And just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, a former producer from Remy's past emerged with a mysterious video. She continued talking about loose ends and was in a frenzy. "It was only now that I understood what she meant. Does he clout chasing? Yeah. Is the internet consuming it anyhow? You already know." Now, public pressure is growing. Protesters outside the courthouse are calling for justice for Darius Gilbo, while Remy fans, the Remy Hive, have started trending. #FairyMyMagain. One side is screaming for justice, the other is screaming for setup. And what about Jace? The man at the center of it all has not spoken yet. No leaked footage, no interviews, no notes from jail, nothing, just silence. Some claim he's making a deal, while others claim he's being protected. But until he speaks or breaks, the guessing game goes on. The following day is the last testimony session before pre-verdict. Deliberations start, and the prosecution just subpoenaed Ray's private therapist. Prevent a violent act. If it's true, it's not just bad optics, it's legal dynamite. Let's recap. Remy Ma just watched her entire life fall apart faster than a lace front in a downpour. Her son is facing life in prison. Her husband flipped on her. The public is divided, and now the prosecution has subpoenaed her private therapist. According to court insiders, the therapist was called in to find out if Remy Ma ever expressed knowledge of the murder beforehand, or, worse, if she confessed to orchestrating a cover-up, the gag she allegedly made. "I feel like I could have stopped it. I told Jace to stay calm. I didn't think it would go that far, boom. That one line turned a tearful confession into an indirect admission of guilt. Jasmine Dior was there, locked in, taking notes like a federal agent in disguise. She had the same energy as someone who had been doubted for too long and finally had the last laugh. But wait, it gets messier. The therapist's testimony was interrupted halfway through. When a bailiff rushed in with a sealed document, the judge opened it, read it for about 15 seconds, and then immediately recessed the court. No warning, no explanation, and the rumors began to fly to anonymous sources, who were likely interns without NDA letters, claimed that the document was a wiretap transcript, and the voice on that wire, Remy Ma, was as clear as day. The feds had apparently been following her around for months, and had simply decided to play their last card. Remy is heard stating throughout the chat, "He will fold if they put too much pressure on him. This must be buried before it reaches the courtroom, the blogs, and the public had already made the connections. So she didn't name anyone, then, as no one had anticipated. Papoose returned to the courtroom as a final rebuttal, not as a witness, and asked permission to make one more statement for the record. The room fell silent, and he stood up and, for the first time in the entire circus, became emotional. His voice cracked. "I love that woman more than life. I stood by her when nobody else would. But when I found out she used me to help hide things I never agreed to, I had to make peace with what was right." Jace wasn't innocent, but he wasn't the only one who should be held accountable. So he just sat down. Remy Ma got up, tried to speak, and then broke down in tears. The internet was exploding, with fake legal experts breaking it down on TikTok, and the judge had to order a brief recess to give her time to gather herself. Remy Ma began trending, more than anything she had released since 2008. But let's not act like she left quietly. When the court resumed, her defense team pulled their last ploy, claiming that the wiretap was unlawful and that it violated attorney-client privilege because it occurred during a discussion about legal strategy. However, the judge didn't buy it, denied the motion, and admitted that then came the closing statements. The prosecution didn't hold back. This isn't just a case of a mother defending her son. This is a case of deliberate manipulation, bribery, and obstruction of justice orchestrated by someone who thought fame made her untouchable. The defense, on the other hand, leaned heavily into sympathy. Yes, mistakes were made. But show us one parent who wouldn't move heaven and earth to protect their child. Don't punish a mother's fear. Don't let grief cloud the facts. Subreddits blazed with conspiracy theories, the internet held its breath, and the jury returned within 3 hours. It was the fastest deliberation in the history of the courthouse, and everyone braced for impact as the 4 members stood up and read the verdict. J. Scott was found guilty on all counts. Remy gasped. And Remy Ma was found guilty of accessory to murder. Not guilty, but guilty of obstruction of justice and tampering with evidence. Papoose closed his eyes and remained motionless, and the courtroom erupted once more, but this time not in disbelief. Half of the room cheered, the other half sobbed, and Remy Ma, the judge ordered her to be detained pending sentencing, and she screamed, "No, no. I was trying to protect my baby." But it didn't matter. The cuffs came out, and her lawyers didn't even protest. She turned to Papoose and sobbed as they released her, saying, "You were supposed to love me through anything." She collapsed again, just like on day one. But this time it was over. "I didn't win today." Jasmine Dior sat outside the courthouse after he failed to reply. "I lost my father. But at least now someone finally paid the price." Oh no, there's still another twist. Just when you thought we were finished, now missing is the driver of that black SUV, the identical one in which Remy vanished into thin air. Turn off the phone, clean the apartment, and erase the security footage. Officials are describing it as odd. It's being referred to as suspicious on social media. As if that wasn't crazy enough, late that evening a burner voicemail appeared on a hip-hop podcast. This was never about Jace. "Check the contracts, follow the cash. The real power doesn't stand trial," said a robotic voice, and then it cut off. Y'all, what is even happening anymore? So now we ask you, what do you think really happened? Was Remy Ma just a scared mother caught in a maelstrom of treachery and poor decisions? Or was she the mastermind of a cover-up that went completely out of control? Did Papoose do the right thing? Or did he sell her out to save his own skin? And what about Jasmine Dior? Is she finally receiving the justice her father deserved? Or is she being used as a pawn? In a much larger game, this trial has revealed much more than just a murder. We'll be watching, and we'll be spilling all the tea. Remy Ma. Until then, leave your thoughts in the comments. Who do you believe was justice truly served? Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification. The internet, it's not letting this one go. So stay tuned, because sources say there's still more to come, more footage, more leaks, and maybe, just maybe, more arrests.